Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me at the table. I'm once again on location with one of my favorite guests, Roy Brown, who's just always a pleasure to chat with. And this time we get to sit down and hear from Roy because in just a few weeks, God willing, he will be ordained a permanent deacon for our faith. Roy, thanks for joining me.
You betcha, Thomas. You are easily entertained.
You've got so much going on in your life with the radio station and all of the expanding ministries that are with that apostolate. Additionally, you're active in OCIA and all of that at St. Bernard's. Why are you taking this step to the ordained diaconate?
That's a great question. I would love somebody to answer that for me. You know, Thomas, I have so many people say, Roy, you're so busy. And I'm like, I'm not though. There's so much that I want to do, that I feel called to do. OCIA is one of my treasures. You know, to walk that journey with others who are opening their heart to God, building that relationship with Jesus Christ. I always tell them, you know, you can learn the catechism back and forth. You can memorize the Psalms, be my guest. But if you don't have that relationship with Jesus, if you don't understand that it's not about what, it's about who, you know, that's the most important thing. And when that happens, and you see that glow that comes upon them, I mean, there's nothing better than that. So, you know, the diaconate, it was a path for another reason. You know, I began because I knew that my prayer life was pretty weak. It was pretty rote. It didn't have a lot of depth to it. And so I thought, well, this is one of those ways that I might grow in a deeper prayer life. I had looked at the diaconate program many years earlier. I think it was the first time that Bishop Warfel had brought it back into order. And so I had talked to my wife about it, and it wasn't a good time at that time. So this most recent one came up, and I said, well, this is the last chance. I'm going to age out of this thing. And she said, no, I think this would be good for us. And so we started the process, and yeah, for the last 3.5, almost 4 years, it's just been a whirlwind since then.
Now, you spoke a little bit about your wife there. Wives are part of this formation process, is that correct?
They are the foundation. I mean, there's no way a married man can go into this process without his wife not in front of him, definitely not behind him. Well, sometimes she kind of has to kick me going, but right there with them. And I didn't fully understand that right away. Because sometimes we look at our faith and our spiritual journey as our own. And we make it personal, and which is good to an extent, but it's meant to be shared. And so what we found in our relationship as a married couple, our first vocation has grown so much stronger in that time. And I can't imagine somebody going through this program without a spouse. I know that there have been a couple of single deacons, permanent deacons that have come in, but without a spouse, I can see where that would be a bigger challenge, yeah.
A lot of people know you and your wife because of the ministries that you both have at St. Bernard's and because you are a bit of a public figure, but they don't necessarily know the Browns. Tell us a little bit just about you and your personal life and what you'd like to share.
Wow, I didn't know we were going to go there. You know, I was raised Catholic, left the faith, came back, had a real resurgence in my faith. When our kids were getting... we got our kids baptized right away, and Carrie wasn't Catholic. So she came into the church when my daughter, right after my daughter was born. And so that started her journey. And so there was a little bit of difference there. But today, it's like we're both kind of on the same path. We're so much more connected there. She's very reserved. I'm the gregarious one. You know, she's the one that likes to kick back and take care of people. I always say that I'm the one that talks in front. She's the one that does the real work behind. Because when people need something, I don't always see it. And she helps me identify those things. And I think that's what makes it a good a good reason to have a wife with you along the way, because they can point out things that we just don't naturally see. We love to spend time together. Reading is one of our greatest passions. We read all the time. She's better at it than I am. Our kids are all grown, so we'd love to travel a little more to see them, but we're both very busy here. We're very connected with our friends, and we enjoy traveling when we have the opportunity. I enjoy golf. She enjoys doing crafts and helping other people and reading, and we've got our little bulldog that just seems to take all of our time. So we always go to dinner and end up talking about our dog. Let's stop it. It's like those people that only talk about their kids, right?
The ministerial diaconate is very different from the ministerial priesthood.
Yeah.
And the priesthood really is to help provide the sacraments, and most frequently we see our priests in parishes and whatnot. The diaconate, though, is a wide open playing field.
Yeah.
So share a little bit about what your vision is, your understanding of the diaconate and the kind of ministry that now opens to you once you're ordained.
A permanent deacon, his role is to serve. That's it. To serve. It doesn't say serve in the parish, serve only Catholics. It's to serve. And I think that's probably the biggest weight that we have to take on, is you're no longer just a parishioner at St. Bernard. You serve everybody. And most importantly, those that are on the margins, those that are in need. And so having somebody by my side to point those things out to me, that's a help. But I see my ministry, we're supposed to teach. And I enjoy sharing what the Lord has given to me. And I enjoy that community that we build in OCIA. Mm-hmm. But in some ways, a priest is a pastor. He's there to help people in that journey with Christ. And so as a permanent deacon, that's another role that I've already kind of seen fulfilled through the OCIA. You get to find people in their need, and you get to provide what they need at that time, but they'll come back to you year after year, and just wanting that reassurance that they're on the right path. And so I see a great opportunity there. I still have more that I think I want to do in my heart. I feel like I want to do like hospital ministry, or elder care, ministry to the dying. Those are very special moments for me, because they can be moments where we really have questions. They can kind of shake our faith, and we just need somebody there to reassure us, and to be we're taught, a deacon brings the church to the people. They don't have to come to us. And when we remember that, then we truly are serving our entire community, because it doesn't matter what faith they are. It doesn't matter if they're any faith at all. But you just go out and take the church wherever you go. And that's kind of been, in my mind, is I represent the church. I'm not representing Roy. I'm not representing Billings Catholic Radio. I am the church to them, so I better have my ducks in a row. And that kind of holds you. It gives you a good reason to examine your conscience more than once a day.
Now, there are some people who are watching, I'm sure, who might be a little concerned, because they think that once you're ordained as a deacon, like priests, that becomes your full-time responsibility. Will being a deacon impact your role here at Billings Catholic Radio, as far as your role as the executive director and your work? Of course it's going to impact your ministry.
I was going to say, yeah, I hope it does. My first vocation is to my family. God's already given us that, and we have to hold that. We have to hold that extremely dear to us. So there has to be some limits there, because that's the first. Mm-hmm. To provide for my family is next. So I have to have this employment to keep all of that going. I see it, the only changes I see is that I might be able to, with the grace that comes through ordination, bring a little more spirituality to the day-to-day, and to be that sense of Christ to other people. I'm not Christ. I hope that doesn't come across wrong. But just to have that presence of mind, to remember that I'm dealing with God's children everywhere I go. And sometimes I can forget that, so I need those reminders. But I don't see a big change. Obviously the bishop, he's going to be the one telling me what to do. Within reason, I pray that I have great trust that he's not going to ask to uproot me. I don't see that happening. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. But where we serve, that's where I look to the bishop to, where do you think he knows me? And I pray that he, as he prays and discerns about where shall I have these deacons serve the greater needs of the diocese? How can they do that best? Because he knows our personalities. He knows our strengths and our weaknesses. He's not going to send me to prison ministry. I don't have any aptitude there. Sure. Of course, God tends to throw us to the wolves every now and then. So we'll go where we're called. That's really what it's intended to be.
It is a major life change to be ordained.
Yeah.
How do you find the courage to say yes whenever God's saying, come a little closer to me?
I don't know. I have to tip my hat to my spiritual director, to the advice that I've received from the other deacons. The formation team is incredible. Having Father Jay Peterson as our spiritual director for the formation weekends has been an amazing grace that I never saw coming. I knew that I'd learned from the other deacons, and I have really good relationships with most of them. Some of them I don't know very well, but I really look at them and see how they have allowed the Lord to move within them and take them much further than they thought they could go. And I've seen it in the candidates too. I've seen how they've changed over the last 3.5 years. And it's truly amazing to see what happens when we do say yes. Having the courage to do it, I don't know that I do. I try, but I think there's still days where I struggle with that, which is natural, I think, to an extent. There's a sense that we're always afraid to give up control, and that's always been one of my vices. I love control. I love my schedule, not yours. And it's been a learning process to just say, okay, I guess that's what's next. And that's why I don't look, people have asked, well, what are you going to do? How is your ministry, how are things going to change once you're a deacon? I don't know. Well, haven't you thought about it? No, I try not to. Because if we're truly going to follow the Lord, then he's going to give us what we need today. Mm-hmm. Not this afternoon. He's giving me what I need right now sitting here with you. This afternoon it's not here yet. And I need to remain present. I need to remain present to the people that I'm with, but most importantly, present to God. I'd like to share, if I can, I just received a book. I found it at Emmaus Road Catholic Bookstore, and it's a 30-day devotion to St. Joseph. And I just started this, and every day it takes you into the life of St. Joseph. What was it like when he received the news that Mary was pregnant? And it paints this picture, and it asks you to imagine, okay, Joseph goes up on the hillside at sunset, and he's asking the Lord, what's going on? But what happens is these psalms that he learned as a child keep coming back to him. And that gives him the strength to go out and have the courage to just say, okay. And so, yeah, there's no end to the way this program has enriched my life and given me great appreciation for the church and what it is. It continues to give to us day after day.
Roy, thank you for taking time and just sharing about your personal journey towards the diaconate, and know that the diocese is praying for you in these days leading up to your ordination, and I invite everyone to continue to pray for these new men who will be ordained in just a few weeks.
And our wives, yeah. There's a lot. Thanks, Thomas.